Forget everything you think you know about yourself, because what you believe you are is only half the truth. This video will pull back the curtain on the deepest, most uncharted territory of your mind, the Jungian Shadow, the part of you that you hide even from yourself, the anger you repress, the envy you deny, the pain you dismiss with a smile. These are not your enemies. They are fragments of your wholeness, begging to be seen. Carl Jung once wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." So if you ever wondered why you keep repeating the same mistakes, falling for the same people, or sabotaging your own peace, that's not bad luck. That's your shadow, steering the ship while you look the other way. In this video, you'll learn how your hidden self shapes your choices, your relationships, and even your sense of meaning. You'll discover how the parts of you that seem dark, shameful, or destructive are actually the key to your transformation. So stay until the end, because by the final minute, you'll know exactly how to embrace your hidden power. And if you want to keep exploring the depths of your mind and the darkness that shapes the soul, subscribe to Hidden Self, because this is where we dive into the shadows, not to get lost, but to wake up. Welcome to 2025, a world that looks bright on the surface, but beneath it, we're burning out. Everyone is performing, online, at work, even in love. We curate our smiles, filter our flaws, and hide our pain behind "I'm fine." But what happens to everything we suppress? Where do our insecurities, fears, and buried desires go? They don't disappear. They go underground, into the shadow. The shadow isn't evil. It's simply the unacknowledged. It holds everything you rejected about yourself. The jealousy you won't admit, the rage you think is unacceptable, the vulnerability you hide to appear strong. Modern life teaches us to eliminate discomfort, be positive, stay productive, don't feel too much. But every time you suppress emotion, you feed the shadow. Every time you deny weakness, you strengthen the mask. And soon, the mask becomes your identity. You become polite, predictable, but hollow, because the more you hide from your darkness, the more it controls you. Jung taught that true individuation, becoming whole, requires us to meet the shadow, to confront it not as an enemy, but as a mirror. Imagine standing in front of your reflection, not the one in the mirror, but the one that shows what you avoid. That's your initiation into wholeness. When you finally say, "Yes, I'm capable of anger. Yes, I'm envious. Yes, I'm broken in ways I don't understand," something powerful happens. The mask cracks. The real self breathes again. The shadow doesn't make you worse. It makes you real. And only what is real can grow. You don't see it, but your shadow writes half the story of your life. It speaks through projection, blaming others for what you can't face in yourself. You despise arrogance in someone else because you secretly crave recognition. You mock people who chase attention because a buried part of you longs to be seen. Every judgment you make is a letter from your unconscious. Think of sudden emotional outbursts, moments where you say, "I don't know what came over me." That was your shadow taking the wheel. Or when you find yourself irresistibly drawn to someone who feels dangerous, mysterious, or toxic. That attraction isn't random. It's your shadow reaching toward what it's missing. Even celebrities and public figures reveal this pattern. We've seen artists crumble under fame, politicians caught in hypocrisy, influencers exposed for living double lives. These aren't accidents. They're public eruptions of unintegrated shadows. Because the more we suppress, the louder the unconscious becomes. The shadow doesn't whisper forever. Eventually it screams. And in a world driven by image, social media, cancel culture, endless self-presentation, the shadow thrives. We perform virtue while privately chasing validation. We preach mindfulness while scrolling through chaos. We claim authenticity while hiding behind filters. But authenticity doesn't come from exposure. It comes from integration. Facing your shadow means taking radical responsibility. It means admitting that what you hate in others might live in you too. It means asking, what is this emotion trying to show me? Instead of, how do I get rid of it? This awareness transforms guilt into growth. Because when you can see your darkness clearly, it no longer controls you. You do. Look around. The world has become a hall of mirrors, each reflection showing us what we refuse to see. Why do online arguments escalate so fast? Because everyone's shadow is fighting to be heard. Why do relationships collapse over small triggers? Because we expect others to hold the pain we've never faced. Why does the pursuit of success feel empty once we make it? Because success can't fill the void of an unlived self. Your shadow hides in every corner of modern existence. In envy disguised as ambition. In kindness that secretly seeks approval. In morality that masks superiority. We live in an era obsessed with light, productivity, happiness, constant positivity. But Jung warned, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Facing your shadow is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong dialogue, a conversation between your conscious self and the stranger within. In modern therapy, journaling, even social awareness movements, we see glimpses of this process, the urge to expose what's been hidden, but exposure without integration leads to chaos. Confession without reflection becomes noise. True integration happens in silence. When you sit with the discomfort, when you admit, I was wrong, when you forgive parts of yourself you once despised. The reward? A grounded strength, a deeper compassion, a presence that doesn't need validation. This is a hidden power of the shadow, not destruction, but transformation. Integration is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. The path forward begins small. Today, in the next 24 hours, start by noticing. When something irritates you, pause. Ask, what does this say about me? That question alone begins the process. Write down one quality you dislike in others, then trace it back to yourself. You'll be surprised how often it leads home. Next, sit with discomfort instead of escaping it. Don't scroll. Don't distract. Just observe. The shadow hates attention, but that's exactly what heals it. You don't have to conquer your darkness. You only have to stop running from it. Over time, you'll feel the shift. You'll react less, judge less, and begin to recognize the same humanity in others that you once denied in yourself. This is living consciously. This is the integration Jung spoke of, the birth of the self. When you live with awareness of your shadow, you no longer fear your flaws. You use them. Your anger becomes assertiveness. Your envy becomes inspiration. Your fear becomes courage. Every dark emotion transforms when illuminated by understanding. That is your hidden power. You just walk through the darkness of your own psyche. You've met the hidden forces that have quietly shaped your life. Now, you know, the parts you fear most are not your enemies. They are your teachers. By embracing your shadow, you reclaim your energy, your creativity, your strength. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop pretending and start becoming. In a world obsessed with image, you choose depth. In a culture that fears darkness, you find light within it. That's what Jung meant when he said, I'd rather be holding good. So take this with you. The shadow will never disappear, but it can become your ally. Walk beside it, not behind it. If this video helped you see yourself a little clearer, stay with me, because this is only the beginning. Subscribe to Hidden Self, where we explore the dark psychology and philosophy of becoming real, because the path to authenticity always begins in the shadows